Welcome to Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. Some of you will have seen the little unboxing and first impressions video because I got a Crown 2 in FAC format a week or so back. They sent me a 30 cal and 22 caliber barrel with it, but at the time they didn't have any 22 cal mags in stock. So I shot it with a 30 cal barrel, and I'm just going to show you now in quite simple ways how to swap it. Now you don't have to remove the scope. I've just done it for the sort of visual simplicity of doing this on camera. But essentially all you need is a 3mm and a 2.5mm Allen key, and the new barrel set will come with a fill probe, and you also need the appropriate magazine. Now one thing I will say is that the newest FX magazines do come with two lids on them, and one is slightly thicker than the other, so depending on which receiver you have, you will obviously use the correct lid to suit that. There's no real mistaking about it, because if you use a lid the wrong thickness, it won't actually slot between the aluminium at the front and the rear, so there's no confusion there at all. Checking the rifle is clear, which it is, and essentially all we have to do is remove the barrel and change the fill probe. So the fill probes are marked on the back. This is marked 30 caliber, the new one is marked 22 caliber. So all I need to do to remove the fill probe is with a 2.5mm Allen key, just take off the screw out of the top there, and that will then just slot out, and then we just put back in the 22 caliber fill probe. The chamfer there will just line through so you can make sure it's the correct way up. Put the screw back in. It does say to make sure there's just a little bit of grease on here so it moves freely, and then once that's back in position, it just wants to be finger tight like that, and that is now fully in operation. Right, let me just move those to one side and I'll show you swapping the barrel. So to swap the barrel we need a 3mm Allen key, and there are essentially two screws on either side of the rifle. So just undo these and take it out. Now you need to be a little bit careful doing this, because you don't want to drop the screws, but you also want to make sure the screws are sufficiently out of the way that they don't nudge the O-rings that are on the back of the barrel, but you'll see that better when it's actually out of the rifle. So I'm just going to spin that out there, just my fingertips on the Allen key. These are all beautifully machined threads in these receivers, so there's no great force required to spin the screws, and then once those are out, make sure they're far enough out so they don't damage O-rings, and that will just slide out of position. Now this 30 cal barrel only has a single port there, so you don't have the options, and I'll show you in a second on the 2.2, but those are the O-rings, and a little bit of silicone grease on the O-rings won't hurt, just to maintain the condition of the rubber on there. Now there is also a little socket there, a little notch there, which will fit into a corresponding notch on the action, so when you put a barrel back in you'll see it like that. If I just slowly rotate that, clunk, it fits down, and that's where you'll retighten it in. Let's pop that one out a second, because the 2.2 barrel has got two options. We've got the slug port on one side and we've got the pellet port on the other, so depending on which you're likely to be wanting to shoot, put it the way up you need it, and it has similarly the notch on the top, on the bottom, so that you know which you want. So I'm going to put this back in here now. Now if you look at one of the fill probes, you can see the air is coming up through the bottom out of the front. So essentially that means we need to have the port we want on the bottom. So I'm going to set this up for slugs. Again, slide that in and it will click into position. I take the 3mm Allen key and just delicately supporting the barrel, I'm just going to put these nothing more than spun into position, making sure I'm holding the barrel into the receiver fully. Now you don't need to swing on these too hard. I would suggest holding the rifle vertically for the next stage, but without bumping the ceiling. That's a little bit trickier to show you on camera. But if I now just go round these diagonally, same as I would with scope mounts to be honest, and nip them into position, that is going to hold the barrel perfectly for me. And when I get to the final stages, just swap the Allen key the other way around. I can just add a little bit more torque, but you don't need to swing on them. These are slightly angled, so make sure you match the angle of them, and then we can tighten them all into final position. So there we are, and we've got the 2.2 fill probe, the 2.2 barrel set up for slugs. Now I'm just going to safe dry fire this, which is that. Pop that out of the way again, and we've got the magazine here and the magazine here, so that I believe is the 2.2 magazine. Yes it is, that's the 2.2 magazine, so that is now the one I'm going to take out and shoot with this rifle today. The joy of quick release scope mounts is that I can just do that, make sure it's pushed to the front of the slot, and then just tighten up these levers on the side. These are worn quick release scope mounts, which I use quite frequently, and of course on this crown they are quite tall, so they give me plenty of space to fit over the top of the magazine. Right, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment and click the notification bell, and keep track of the regular uploads, because there's going to be a huge review of this rifle in both calibers coming soon. In the meantime, go through to the end of the video and click on the link for tickets for the 2024 British Shooting Show at Birmingham's NEC. It'll be a great show. Sportsman Gun Centre will be there with all the FX rifles. I'll be there. If you bump into me, say hello, and please come on to the show, because it's a great way to start the year of February. Right, thanks for watching. Bye for now.